beautiful day on Your Image with Akin Okudero. Today, I'm having an enigmatic personality. Enigmatic in the sense that he's a man in a diverse experience. And of course, when I read out his pedigree, you will agree with me that issues of life, how life are painted, how life are exhibited, how people are exposed to certain developments in the world, showcasing different attitudinal issues, developments, and the like, are his purview. The topic today is authors and life issues. Do you hear me? Authors and life issues. Authors are enigmatic. And I have with me Mr. Matthew Simpa. Matthew Simpa is a filmmaker, a TV producer, screenwriter, video editor, and of course, a consummate author. Glad to welcome you.
Thank you.
I also have a dynamic young man representing the youth, and he's been on this platform before, and today is here as an author and also a consultant with SRO Consult, an educational institute. We're glad having you today.
Thank you, sir.
His name is Glory Oludare.
It's 19 years, sir.
Nice having you once again. The topic once again is authors and life issues, and we're going to be looking at it from the public relations perspective. The authors, why are they peculiar?
Well, in a nutshell, the way I see it is the fact that they are closest to God in terms of, can I say, nature, because we are natural, right? But when you consider the fact that God himself is a creator, you discover that anybody that creates is like the firstborn of God, then the one who really takes after God.
Closer than the clergyman?
I didn't know about that. Because the thing is, among my children, the one that takes after me is the one that is closest to me. The one among them that wants to do what I do is the one that would have my ear and attention all the time. Is the one I will relate with, that I will talk to, that I would discuss a lot of issues with, and the one that can gain most from me.
Well, I'm asking this question because I found out that authors, writers are in another world entirely. Exactly. And they depict a lot of things that an ordinary eye will not fathom. It's like they are mystic. At times they extrapolate, and at times they see into the future. How do they come up with those attributes?
Now we talk about muse. I was writing my profile for one program that I want to be part of. They said I should use my resume and turn it into a pro. So I told them that I found my muse in 2019. Now the muse is the kind of God, so to say, small God that, you know, inspires people to creativity. And you know, once you are a writer, the muse is always present with you. Now there is a story I'm writing. I've not had time to sit down and finish it. It's about, you know, a little girl whose mother wins abruptly.
Okay.
And I happened to be close to this girl. I studied her mood, studied her behavior within the time that the winning process was taking place, and I began to project into her mind to begin to wonder what this girl would be feeling, thinking at this particular time. And I came up with a story. And that story, by the time I write it, people will be wondering, where did this person get this idea? But you know, it's just because the whole thing is within me. As a writer, you can extrapolate, like you rightly said, you can deduce. you can, you know, imagine what can happen. You can put one and one together and come up with something that adds up.
Well, thank you very much. Oludare, when you look at a child, where do they get the inspiration to say certain things that are unexpected? You as a writer and an author, where did you get your inspiration?
Well, as far as the authors are concerned, generally speaking, you know, we have genres of authors with their and their specialties, special areas where they focus on, which serves as the expression of their way of writing. Most of the children in our societies that of today get their inspiration from the societies, the things they go through, the experience, especially on the road, the streets. And you see, if you have looked at, historically speaking, if you have looked at some of our celebrities today, in fact, most of our musicians, most of them get their inspiration while they are in the ghetto. For instance, if you look at Wizkid, you know, Daddy Shoki, all of these guys, they have the way by which they express their way of their creativity through their music. And the same thing applies to children who are also gifted at writing.
Let me ask you, we have often found out that most of the successful artists come from ghettos, they come from villages where you do not expect certain creativity to evolve. What is there that is tripling them or tipping them to do the unexpected?
All right. I'm going to give a quote that I once wrote some years back in relation to ghetto, the atmosphere of ghetto, that famous people are made in the forest, not in the city. And that depicts most writers today. In fact, not only related to the writers, most of the successful celebrities of today, depending on their areas of expressing their creativity, most of the metaphorical experience or the metaphorical image of ghetto simplifies the background to the experience that each of those who write or sing or, you know, perform any forms of art.
Is it the struggles they
Yes,
go through?
part of it, sir. Part of it, because it actually bets the things that are inside them. Their inspiration comes from there, and there they express what they are given. And so creativity comes from struggle and experience.
Thank you very much. You know, as a filmmaker, video editor, TV producer, how has films and the like changed the society? How has it changed our circumstances?
Okay, well, if we look at it in a broad sense, that is the whole world, we discover that movies or the audiovisual medium has changed life, you know, dramatically. As a matter of fact, a lot of the things we have, you know, as technology today, we actually began to see them in movies. Now, when I come into OGTV here, the door slides for me, and I enter. Now, before I began to come to a place like this, I was seeing such things on television, like in a program that used to be called, that used to be shown. It was Space 1999. I used to see that there. Then again, all these mobile phones and all those things, they were in science fiction films that we used to see in those days. So you discover that movies, television, and all those things, they have actually helped to move society forward. They have been, you know, tools of progress in the right hands, of course, in the hands of the right people anyway.
Yeah, I like that, in the hands of the right people, because I'm to ask you that, well, this cultural sustainability, why has it been successful in India, in China, Japan and not in Nigeria?
And the thing is, we tend to be cry babies. We blame others for our problems. I mean, you know, at least one group, one WhatsApp group, where sometimes they just dump issues and say, blame the white man, blame the Europeans, blame this, blame that for our woes.
Blame the military.
Blame the military. But the question now is, were Indians not colonized by these same white people? Japan was, you know, the colonial masters of Korea, South Korea, and North Korea. Even China, they made an incursion into China and they colonized China. Come to think of it, America was a colony of England. But these countries managed to, you know, get over all this idea of colonialism and all that. And today they are great countries. So I think basically our problem is that we blame others for our problems rather than sitting down and looking into the essential aspects of our culture and harnessing them and blending them with modernism so that we can make progress. India was colonized, and today India is like one of the foremost countries in ICT.
Yes.
They don't sit down and say, the English colonized us, so because of it, everything must scatter. No, they looked inward. They looked into their cultures. They saw how they could harness all that they had, and then they, you know, put it together with the foreign things that were introduced to them, and today they are the better for it.
Well, will you say that it is government that is not up and doing in their responsibility in helping to structure our style of living?
Well, the government has a lot of role to play in that, even though they are doing their own in their own capacity. But then, you know, the effrontery of leadership begins from the followership. And in essence, what I'm trying to say is that every system or every structure depends on the mindset of the individuals, right from, well, circles they belong to. And that depends on how they are given the right environment. There is always the need for enabling environment, because it is one thing to have potentials. It is one thing to have the resources. It is one thing, it is yet another thing to even have the capital to run with it, to put things in place. But if there is no enabling environment, and that is where the issue of legality, you know, standard comes in. So if there's no enabling environment, it will always end up being mismanaged and misused.
Well, I hear you. What when you look at the society, it's like the old generations have been in the scheme of things, film shows, TV production and the like. How are you encouraging the youth to come on stage and in fact shape up the environment in the film industry?
Last time I checked, I know that a lot of programs that come up, you know, in terms of empowerment and knowledge, you know, dissemination, they are targeted at the youth. So you discover that the youth have ample opportunities. They've been given ample opportunities. But like my colleague here said before, harnessing the opportunities is another thing. I think maybe the youth are just not willing to learn the right kind of things. Possibly they go, they hear what people have to say and they come out and do whatever they like, because they are not really doing what you expect they would. If you look at the films that have really made impacts this past few days, they were made by people over 40.
Yes.
Whereas in other countries, you see people, youth, 20-something, 30, coming up, making films and all that. When Steven Spielberg and Steven Lucas, you know, started, they were in their youth. They were like 20-something, and you know, they made films that created impact. So I would say that the youth are just not really positioning themselves to take over.
Whose fault is that?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, it is everybody's fault, and we cannot go back to the ages past to blame the whites or to blame. We have to blame ourselves, because every responsibility is first personal before it becomes collective. So, and as far as that is concerned, I believe that we must go back to the drawing board and attend to our responsibility, especially from the side of the youths. My dear colleague has mentioned the fact that, you know, there are a lot of films, there are film producers of the past, they started from their youthful age. People like Walt Disney, who has who founded Hollywood several years back. Today, everyone is watching Hollywood because someone started it. So we need to go back to the drawing board and focus on what we are given, and next what we have been given, what we have. It is, you know, our development as far as Nigeria is concerned depends on attending to our responsibility and using it no matter what we face. I believe the youth have a lot to do in that area.
Yeah, not only the youth,
yes.
We also have all other stakeholders to play their game.
Yes.
I want to ask you, Simpa, filmmaking, TV production, screenwriting, and video editing has been seen as a very difficult terrain. How do we demystify that?
Well, I don't know about it being a very difficult terrain. If you know, you know. The thing is, to me,
how do we make people know?
It is about the easiest, you know, profession in the world, because you do not necessarily need to go to the university to be a filmmaker. Once you have the talent, and these days you can go on the internet.
It's that easy?
Yeah, it's that easy. There are so many resources out there that you can use to learn. Like, take me for example, the time I went to a film school was not this era, and there were no technological advancement that I could leverage on. And I didn't even start as a video editor. I was director, writer. Then at a point I discovered that, you know, editors were putting me to ransom. So I needed to learn video editing. I first started learning online. And without even going for any formal training, I'm an editor. I have headed the editing department of a film school in my short career. You understand? So the thing is, being willing to actually learn is the key. If you are ready and willing, the knowledge is there. And of course, somebody like me, I'm always willing to impart knowledge. But I discovered that some of the youth of these days, they are not really willing to learn. It's like they are much more interested in money. But money is not everything. In fact, there's a quotation I would have given now from a book by Henry David Thoreau, an American author. You know, this man says that it's not money that is important in life. You know, there are much more important things. Sometimes you may, you know, create a lot of things that will not bring money in your lifetime. Could be later on. The one book that, writing that Thoreau is very notable for is Civil Disobedience. He wrote it, it was not even reckoned with in his lifetime. But after he died, it became a classic, and it has influenced so many civil rights movements all over the world. It influenced Mahatma Gandhi, it influenced Martin Luther King, and all other people like that. So it's not money first, it is commitment and passion that will help you break into any area of life.
Well, you talk about opportunities therein in the filmmaking industries and the like. Can you lead some of our youths into this terrain? What are the little things they can do that can really put them on that terrain?
Like I said, the first and foremost thing is willingness to learn. And of course, we need an enabling environment. Incidentally, since I came to Abeokuta, I've seen some kind of hostility in the society here. I remember going to one big organization. I don't want to mention the name of that organization, but it even has an affiliate. It's an American organization, but localized in in an organization owned by a Nigerian. I wanted to just do free training, no money. I was not going to ask money. I just need their cooperation and their facilities. Till tomorrow, they've not approved it. I don't know why. Possibly because they don't think it's important to teach the youth the kind of knowledge I wanted to teach them.
So how do we make it important?
Yes. Thank you very much. That's a very big question. Number one, I as an educational consultant and author, writer, leadership coach for the past 10 years, one of the things I found out about the area he has mentioned is that our curriculum, we need to go back to our school system. The curriculum that we are running needs the impact of various creative industries. He has mentioned film industry, even though in some schools we have the theater departments, but the core areas like film industry, video editing, are they being taught? Are they being utilized? Today, you know, I've seen youth, 70% of youth now use social medias, even without learning film industry, filmmaking and all of those things. They use the YouTube, they use the Instagram to project whatever they are selling. And if the next generation, we call them the Gen Alpha, Gen Zs, if they are not, you know, taught the background, if they are not put into learning that from their school curriculum, how will they utilize it in their own age? So the government and private organizations, they need to bring back this idea. This is part of what we call creative industry. It's a very lucrative industry that needs to be inculcated into our curriculum such that learners, the next generation will learn it and use it to develop and improve the economy.
Thank you very much. What's your vision for the new generation?
Well, my vision for the new generation is to see that they actually take up from where we have left it and take it to the highest height possible. You know, it's always the next generation that will do everything. If you look at advanced countries, it was not the founding fathers that actually, you know, brought them to where they are now. It's the generation that came after them. You know how many years it was between George Washington and Abraham Lincoln? Yet it was Abraham Lincoln that, you know, stopped slavery. You know how many years it was between Abraham Lincoln and John F. Kennedy? And you know what John F. Kennedy did? So the youth, I want to see a youth that is vibrant, that is, you know, introspective, that thinks 360 degree, not just thinking, you know, on the surface, superficially. Got to sit down and put their thinking cap so that they can achieve great things. This station has potentials.
Yeah, well, what an advice. A great one for the youth and for everyone who wants to advance in the world and who wants to change the environment. It's been a great time having Matthew Simpa, a filmmaker, TV producer, video editor, and author. He's been in the terrain for so long, a man who is vast and deep in his works. Well, this is an opportunity to thank you for being with us.
The pleasure is mine.
I hope next time you'll be with us.
I'm always available. Anytime.
That's great. That is great. That is great. Yeah. Glory Oludare.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for being here.
Yes.
I hope you also galvanize the youth.
Of course. We're working on it.
To enter into the space.
Yes, sir.
And take their positions.
Yes.
So until next week, we will be talking on another topic. Thank you for being with us. It's been a wonderful time being with Matthew Simpa and Glory Oludare on the topic authors and live issues, the public relations perspective. I'm Akin Okudero, your anchor. Stay blessed until we meet next time. Bye.